Have you always had that entrepreneurial aspect or in you, or is it something that's kind of like grown?
I think the most part has been in me. You know, it comes from
Mhm.
my parents mostly. You know, my dad, putting him on blast right now, but he was a street hustler. You know,
Got you,
from
got you. Hey, but the
times I
hustle,
was real young,
the hustle translates everywhere though.
everywhere.
And
You know,
everything's the
and
same. That's what people don't know. Everything is the same. It's just a matter of how you're applying it. But the same traits and skill
exactly.
sets that work on the streets work in
Yep,
a boardroom.
absolutely.
Brand Talk
All
Live.
right.
I'm your host, Brandon Gaston. We got Damon King. Uplift your
What's
gift.
going on?
Yeah, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to have you on. We talked about it for a minute, and then I'll be seeing your stuff
Hmm.
on IG. And one thing about what I love so much about this is just being able to connect with so many different people that either I have a direct connection to, or through social media, I can reach out to people from
Hmm.
different areas and different aspects. And you're someone that I've been following. I just appreciate everything that you share. And then I love the name. Uplift. Come all about
Appreciate it.
positivity and literally uplifting people. So I'm super excited to have you
Absolutely.
on.
I appreciate it, man. And I'm a huge fan of yours as well. You know, I've been following you as well, seeing what you're doing, and I love how you're utilizing your platform. You know, being able to bridge the gap between entrepreneurs and businesses as well to, share their light. So I love what you're doing.
Yeah, man. It's interesting. We were talking before. I always say, like, you guys that aren't on here, like, we'll be having conversations. We'll be having podcasts, live stream conversations before we even get going. And really, I'll be
Right.
like, yo, you got to wait. But one thing about it for me going into this year, I mentioned, I was already planning on like pivoting into like branding and, letting people know. And I started my podcast. And then once COVID started and I was out here, I'm like, hey, how can I, remain relevant? But also,
Right.
how can I highlight people within the community, right? People that are doing work that I appreciate, that I respect, that I see what they're doing on whatever level that I can get behind. And that really was the motivation at the beginning. And then now it's more
Right.
into like, hey, I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I like talking to people and I like hearing their
Right.
stories. And people be watching, they be like, yo, I heard so many good, tips and tricks and insights. I'm like, yo, I'm a fan too. Like I get a front row seat. Well, literally not now. Like I get a front row Zoom seat, but
Right.
for someone. So talk about you and your background. I know you play professional sports. I think you are the first professional athlete I've had. But talk about that background from there, because I'm sure being a professional basketball player has translated over into what you do right now. And introduce yourself for more people that don't
Absolutely.
know who you are.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, my name is Damon King, and I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Been living out here in Portland for about 16 years or so. I played ball at Weber State University, same place as Damian Lillard.
Okay.
And
Okay. So you got that connection.
I got that connection, but I don't know him like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I'm a lot older than him. So, a lot of people ask me that. It's like, oh, you played there, Dame? And no, I don't. I don't personally know him. I have friends that know him. That
Yeah.
have that relationship, but
The
I don't
irony of
personally
you
know him.
playing at Weber State though, and him being, he's what, one of how many professional athletes does Weber State have in the NBA? Is he one of one?
Currently, yeah, but
Yeah.
a few years back, we had Eddie Gill, my teammate. He played for the Blazers as well.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay. So
he was
it's
a
definitely
point guard as well.
that Weber State Portland connection.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but he's the one that's representing us now. But
Okay.
I
In a
essentially
major
left.
way.
Yeah, big time. He's killing
Yeah.
it. I left Weber State and went to play overseas. Played in Germany. Played in China. Played in the Middle East and Lebanon, Syria. I kind of been all over. Trying to, I guess, broaden my horizons and get some experience. Culturally in different
Yeah.
cultures. So after playing, I was kind of torn between what I wanted to do. So I started training kids. One-on-one skill development. Having a passion for that, because I didn't really want to leave the game, but I didn't necessarily want to get into coaching either, because
Gotcha.
I still wanted to play.
Yeah.
And that was hard. It's hard once you're done playing, and like you have to come to that realization that it's actually over.
Yeah.
And then you got to figure out, okay, well, now what can I do and sharpen my skills?
Exactly.
So I was at war with myself for a long time, trying to figure out what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
That was very hard for me. And
give context. When is this? Give us a timeline when this is going on.
So this is around, finished up playing around 2000 and I want to say 2009.
Okay.
Probably the last year I played professionally.
Yeah.
I had a few injuries, and that's what kind of forced me into retirement. It was once you get older, you're getting up in age, and you have an injury, then teams are like, they want to go with the younger guys and pay them less money or whatever.
Yeah, that
And
makes sense.
that's kind of where I fell in. Around 2009 is when I was done. But it was tough. It was tough for me, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And then essentially I came out here wanting to work for the big shoe brands, work for Nike or Adidas, and, thinking that, that was the thing for me because it was
Yeah,
still
stay within the
tied to the
culture.
sport. Right.
Yeah.
And it's tied to sport and all of that. And I had a lot of friends, which I still do, a lot of connections, at those places, but I just wasn't able to land an opportunity. So then, basically trying to figure out, well, what can I do for myself?
Yeah.
That I don't have to work for someone else and still find fulfillment and also have an impact on others. And then, I started out with my other brand, which was In the Zone Fitness, because I just started out training people outside, doing boot camps outdoors and whatnot. And this was about 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
And, I started doing those trainings, getting certified to train and started enjoying it, because I'm outside, I'm training people and they're loving it. So, just trying to create a culture there.
Yeah.
And, but then I started to experience a little bit of burnout.
Got you. Okay.
Where, and that kind of hit me where it's like, okay, well, I have to manage my time better, of how I'm going to train. Just like I was telling you earlier, it's like I just finished training, but I was in the comforts of my own home.
Yeah.
Training on a screen, and then I'm on a screen with you now, which is dope. And then I get to train once we're done again, which that's going to be a person, but still, it's finding that balance. And early on, I didn't have that balance, so I was, experiencing that burnout where I was like, man, am I doing the right thing?
Got
So
you.
that was kind of hard for me.
Yeah,
But I'm loving what I'm doing.
There's a lot of things I want to touch on too. I definitely want to get into the COVID, how it's been beneficial and other things.
Mm-hmm.
But first off, have you always had that entrepreneurial spirit? Like, has that always been in you? I know you're a professional athlete, and there's a certain level of, I would imagine, I'm not a professional athlete, I'd imagine there's a certain level of attributes and characteristics that you build from being a professional athlete that translate well over to business. For your instance, it seemed like you got injured, so you weren't necessarily ready to go. But have you always had that entrepreneurial aspect or in you, or is it something that's just kind of like grown?
I think the most part has been in me. It comes from my parents mostly. My dad, putting him on blast right now, but he was a street hustler.
Got you. Hey, but the hustle, the hustle translates everywhere though.
Everywhere.
Everything's the same. That's what people don't know. Everything is the same. It's just a matter of how you're applying it. But the same traits and skill sets that work on the streets work in a boardroom.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to be able to relate to people and talk to people, and have the gift of gab to be able to talk, that kind of translated with me from an early age.
Okay.
So I would say it was definitely instilled in me. After playing, I developed a lot of discipline, and that's still in me, to be very disciplined in how I approach and navigate through my days and whatnot. And just having that go-getter mentality. It's like, okay, well, now what's the next move? I'm always thinking about the next move I can make. And sometimes
I tell people all the time, it's chess, not checkers. Like,
right.
It's always like, the funny thing for me, and you can probably relate to it, like everything I'm doing now, and like we talked about before we got on, like before I started wardrobe branding in 2015, I had 0 clients, right? I'm literally in my house. I've never dressed anyone in my life. I do an event for the first time, and it went well. But literally, I'm writing down goals for me to do something similar to what I'm doing right now. And like before I won, like everything it's always been chess. Now I haven't been able to say I knew the exact roadmap because we never do. Right. But I definitely had a game plan. Like it don't just happen. And even this is like the setup for the next thing. It's always like it's like jabbing. It's like always setting something up for the next thing, and people don't see that. And then they'd be like, oh, that's why he was doing that. That's what it was.
But that's how it's supposed to be. They're not supposed to see all that work. You're supposed to set up that plan and present to them what you've been planning.
Exactly.
And that's kind of the line that I fall in is having a game plan. Like, I'm thinking about so many things that I want to do for my brand currently. You
Yeah.
know, we talk about clothing, and it's like, okay, well, I want to bring some apparel out there as well and have a lifestyle brand as well
Mhm.
with what I'm doing. You know, it's not just me being in the gym and just getting everybody swole and then that's it. You know,
Yeah.
it's not about that. You know, it's creating a lifestyle and enjoying every aspect of what I'm doing, you know, having that game plan.
Well, it really is a lifestyle, and the reason why I talked about like mood branding, I understand that every touch point matters, right? Like
Yep.
every aspect, everything they see matters, and it is either like reinforcing the strength of your brand, if you will, or it's taking away from the strength of your brand. And so
Right.
whether that's through fashion, fitness, everything like that, like it's all like my literally my name when I started my wardrobe was the Lifestylest. Like I was like,
Right.
yo, I want to style
Yeah.
your life, all aspects.
Yep.
It's gonna start with fashion, but I want to
Hmm.
direct where you go, how you hang out, how you speak, how you network. Like everything was incorporated,
Right.
into fulfilling this lifestyle, if you will. You talked about burnout, and I feel like a lot of people that would be good for a lot of people to hear, like how you overcame it, right? Because a lot of times what people don't realize, talking about all the work that we do, there's a lot of work behind the scenes that
Hmm.
people don't see, and it's so much more than they
Right.
actually think it is. And it's easy to get
Right.
burnt out, and it's easy to be there. People, I don't understand people realize how like lonely it is as an entrepreneur. Like that's the
Yeah.
other thing. Like you on your grind 24/7, even if you have a significant other, like if they are an entrepreneur, you can't really have that conversation. And so there's not a lot of people you can actually talk to. So there's
Right.
that too. So how'd you overcome your burnout? And then you talked about now how your scheduling is better, but how'd you overcome it?
I think for me, just kind of being patient with myself, you know, and realizing, okay, it's okay to feel this, because it's just like with anything, you have to have some failure in order to appreciate some success, right?
Without
So
question.
for me, you know, having that burnout was a realization factor. It was like, okay, well, I'm not necessarily managing my time properly, you know, to benefit me as well, so that I can present myself to others and all that I have, you know, 100%. So I think it was mostly me just being patient with myself and realizing that it's okay to experience that burnout. Because you hear a lot of trainers go through burning out because they're up at 5 a.m. training until, you know, 8 p.m. And it's
Yeah.
like, I don't want that for my life. You know, I want to enjoy life. You know, I'll train a couple hours throughout the day, but I still want to enjoy life. Like, it's not about me just training the whole world, because
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do that. You know, I
Yeah.
want to impact. If it's just that one person that I make an impression on, I've done my job. You know, and that's what it's about, is reaching someone who connects with you, and having that rapport, you know, established in that way. So that was the main thing, is just having that patience within myself and realizing that it's okay, you know, to experience this and kind of strategize a plan so that I can get out of that burnout. And that's what I ultimately did now. So it's like, now I have a better time management system. And
Yeah.
being in it alone is, like you said, it's difficult, because you're putting in so many hours that people don't see. Like me prepping a workout, that takes time, you know, for an
Yeah.
individual to make sure that, you know, I'm providing the right exercises for them that they can get results with. That's it's not like I just snap my fingers and it comes to me. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So you got to plan it out, and that's
I was
tiresome.
it's tired. I was literally I had a conversation with an influencer the other day, and she was like, "Yo, people just think I'm an influencer." She's like, "I'm a model. I'm a photographer. I'm an editor. I'm a brand strategist." And
Yeah,
that's the same thing with an influencer as a business person.
yeah,
With a business person, you're an influencer and a business person. But like people be
yep,
like, "Yo, okay, so Brandon, you have these conversations. Now I'm doing 3 a week. You have these conversations, these 30, 45-minute conversations." It's like, bro, I'm emailing, DMing, getting
yeah,
photos, creating
yeah,
assets, post production, promoting it,
yep,
marketing it. You seeing the tip of the top. You seeing the iceberg. You ain't
right,
seeing everything that's underneath, and that's what people don't realize. And honestly, that was part of the reason why I started doing these interviews, was because
okay,
people only see that, and they think that
right,
that's what it is. And it's like, no,
right,
that's not what it is. And I'm not one to wreck anyone's dream, because I feel like anyone can do anything they want to do. But you need to be realistic of what you're getting yourself into. When you see something,
100%,
like just like being in shape, that just don't
yeah,
happen. You
right,
just don't wake up like that. Like it just don't happen. Like yo, you probably
yeah,
measure meals. You know
yeah,
you meal planning. You working out, whatever,
right.
whatever. Uh, talk
It's
about you.
incorporating that lifestyle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
that's
never
what it is.
ends.
Right. It's just like when you see a pro athlete and they're killing it on the court or on the field or whatever, you just see that. You
Yeah.
don't see all the hours that they're putting in the gym, getting those reps in to prepare themselves for those moments. And that's essentially what we're doing. We're preparing ourselves for these moments, to
Yeah.
shine. And that's what it's about, is putting in that work behind the closed doors.
Talk about the advantage. I had another trainer on here, and I want to talk about the benefits of competition, right? Because I know you being an athlete, I'm assuming you are a highly competitive person. I know me, like I'm super competitive, super
Yep.
competitive. And it translates, I believe most of the time it translates well to business. How did that aspect of being an athlete and the competitive nature, because sometimes we look at competition as a bad thing. It's like, yo, it's good too. Like I want to kill people when it comes to business. Like same as you want to be like
Right.
playing basketball. Like when it comes to business, like
Yeah.
yo, I'm my number one competitor, but at the same time, I want it to be known. Is that similar for you, and how has being a competitor and a professional athlete translated to your business?
I think as far as being a competitor for me, like I try to see who's at the top in my eyes, so I
Yes,
look at that as a standard, because it's
got you.
the standard for me isn't the standard for everybody else,
Without
so
question.
obviously I'm looking at someone where it's like, okay, they're doing this and they're having this amount of success. How can I manage that same level of success and surpass that through my lens?
Hmm.
So my competitor lens is not necessarily me comparing myself to others, but basically comparing me to where I'm at, to where I'm trying to get. So
Exactly.
I think that's how I try to utilize that competition in business.
Yeah.
If it's in the sport aspect, then yeah, I'm definitely trying to, destroy my opponent.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing. But in business, we can all eat, we can all thrive. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? There's enough for everyone. But at the same time, you have that high standard that you're trying to get to, and you have to get to that level by putting in the work, putting in those hours behind closed doors and getting that grind. So that's it's kind of hard to say how I level that competitor sense in a business aspect, because I usually am just going against me. I'm setting the
Got you.
bar for myself, like
Yeah.
how we're setting our goals. That's it's me versus me.
Yeah. No, and there is that. There is that. What's funny for me, and I'll be transparent. Like, yo, there was a time where, call me petty, whatever. But this is my. I won't say out there. There was a time I wasn't even following anyone locally that was considered a stylist. Like I wasn't.
Hmm.
Like, and but
Yeah.
it was also because I didn't want to compare myself to them, and I didn't want to get sidetracked for what they were doing and thinking because they weren't on my journey. And what they
Right.
were trying to accomplish is not the same as me. I'm like, I'm not even following you because I don't even want to see what you got going on. At the same time, I'm trying to be the best of the best.
Hmm.
I will also say I had a conversation literally last night with a friend of mine, and I'm like, look,
Hmm.
my goals will always keep me humble
Yep.
because regardless of what I'm doing, I know where I'm trying to get to. And where I'm at is not where I'm trying to get to. So my goals will
Exactly.
always keep me humble. Yet at the same time, I'm aware, like, okay, this is where I'm
Right.
at in comparison to the overall community or whatever, if you will. So yeah,
Right.
it is kind of hard, but it ebbs and flows with me as far as how I utilize it to other people and how I utilize it within myself.
And it's funny that you say that, because a lot of friends will ask me that, like, who is it that I follow, that's in the fitness industry as well. And I'm just like you. I don't follow many fitness people. And
Yeah,
it's not because, I dislike what anybody else is doing. I just don't want to fall into that comparison mode, where
exactly.
I'm comparing myself to this person. They're doing something completely different. Like what they have, their vision for them is not the vision that I have for me. So I'll see some stuff, but I don't necessarily follow, what others are doing, because I'm concerned with what I'm trying to do. And if I'm caught up in comparing myself in there, then I'm thinking about my failures, my shortages, and how come I can't meet up to what they're doing or whatever. Or, I don't like to fall into that lane. So I just try to, like you do, stay away from that.
Nah, for real. And I have a funny story actually with that happened. So I was at an event. I'm not gonna say no names, and hopefully they're not watching.
Okay.
But a
Uh-huh.
stylist came up to me at this event, right? And
Uh-huh.
she was like, "Oh, whatever, da da da, Brandon Lifestylest, yeah, da da." She's like, "Yeah, I follow you. We're competitors, right? Look, I was like, I didn't even know who she was at all.
Exactly.
And she was talking to me like, yeah, you know, I got to keep up with what people are doing. I'm like, I have no idea who you are, but I'm going to do like I
Yeah.
always do. I'm going to nod and smile and pretend
Put on
as if
face.
whatever, but I don't even know who you are at all.
Yeah.
But even to what we were talking about earlier, for me, what I realized, I look everything being the same. I would actually look outside of stuff fashion. I would look at other industries specifically to see how I can incorporate what's working in other industries and bring it back into fashion, because business is business. But I also wanted to not only I didn't want to compare myself to other people, but I also wanted to I didn't want to get trapped in just being a fashion guy, right? I didn't want to just look at business and the world through that fashion lens. And so I would look at interior design, I would look at architecture, I would look at fitness or whatever and be like, okay, so what are they doing? What is working in a totally polar opposite industry that I can now incorporate into what I'm doing? And that always gave me a fresh perspective. So you actually did that, you got through burnout, you got a better schedule. Now let's fast forward to this year, right? We both talked about it before we got on. Like how has, COVID, it is what it is, right? I say all the time, I pivoted the pivot. You know what I mean? I at the beginning of when it was happening, I was actually with a client, and I told her I didn't know to the extent of what it was going to become. So I was naive at the time, like a lot of people I think were. But I was like, yo, I'm gonna be good. Like, yo, I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna make a way. I lived through a recession. I'm built for it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be good. And there's still aspect I feel like it's true, because I feel like when everything is easy, everybody eats. Right. You can't really see who's really, eating what they kill. Everybody can eat, right? But now it's like it's go really test who can really adapt and pivot. How has COVID been beneficial to your business, where a lot of people are struggling? What have you done to make it actually work for you, and how is business in comparison right now to what it was before?
So prior to starting Uplift, like I told you before, I was running outdoor boot camps within the zone, and it was more in-person training and whatnot. So once COVID hit, I originally intended on starting Uplift as an online training platform anyway. Like that was kind of the goal, but not necessarily doing like Zoom trainings or anything like that. It was just a basic.
When was that shift? When was that shift from In the Zone to Uplift? Because I do remember seeing that.
Yeah, it started the first of the year, January.
Okay, got you.
So that's right when I transitioned, into it, because I had stopped training for a while. Okay. And because I was telling you about that burnout, I had to kind of clear my head, and I was battling back and forth. Do I still want to train? Because I did enjoy it, but it was depleting me, taking a lot out of me. Driving here and there. It was a little much, and so that's why I said I wanted to get into the online training so that I wouldn't have to, experience that burnout like that. And I think for me, when COVID happened, an opportunity kind of fell in my lap with some former trainers that I trained with. And, we all came collabed and kind of got on with the Zoom training, platform, having yoga instructor, Pilates instructor, myself, and other, educators to help people who were going through some challenging times. And Uplift kind of started for me with, wanting to be positive and uplift people. That was the whole meaning behind the message. Just positivity, wanting to influence others to, keep your head up regardless of what you're going through. There's light at the end of the tunnel. And as far as business being much better, well, due to our time that everybody's kind of stuck home, it couldn't help but be better. It's like exercise is that therapy for everybody. Who exercises? Everybody doesn't exercise, but for those who do exercise, that's that clarity. You want to clear your head, you go for a run, whatever, you get on your bike, you lift weights, whatever it is. So for me, it was easy to kind of just market that and during this time, because it's a need, and it's like, okay, well, you need food, you got to go to the store and eat. Yeah. You need training, go to your computers and see Uplift, and we can make some things happen, so that it's been really good, as far as from what it was before to now, because more people can relate to me being at home and being in their homes and being able to train. It's like I'm in my living room working out in front of my big screen, looking at others and trying to help them,
Yeah.
get through their day through exercise. So it's been great. And
Talk,
now
talk.
that
Oh,
go
no,
ahead,
finish
go
what you're
ahead. I'm
saying.
sorry.
I just had an idea, but finish what you're saying.
Oh, I was just going to say, currently, right now, I have my Feed the Beast event going on. It's a challenge 21 days, right? So most people initially were thinking that, I'm just going to be providing workouts, but it's more than workouts. It's me providing you with information to try to help you heal yourself during this time. So if you're going through a hard time, I have people journaling. If you're going through a hard time, I have people meditating. If you're going through a hard time, I have you reading, incorporating all three of those things on top of working out, as well as eating well. I provide nutrition as well, through a platform, through a meal service. So that was just all types of things that I wanted to incorporate, to kind of keep people's spirits up. Even though you may be going through hell right now, you may have lost your job or whatever it is, but you still can find a way to take care of yourself in the meantime. And that's, if you're not here, then there's no point. So you got to
Exactly.
take care of you. That's what it's about.
Yeah, I want to come right back to that because, like I said, I entitled Uplift Your Gift, which is, obviously I always use whatever. I think I'm clever, you most of the time, but of course I had to whatever figure out. But I definitely want to talk about how you're allowing people to really achieve their gifts and stay in their gifts and do what they love to do. But you hit on something that I don't think a lot of people are talking about as far as the connectivity aspect. Most people would think because of COVID, right, everyone's isolated. But
Right.
you actually said you've been able to relate to people even more. And I've heard this from a business perspective from Zoom meetings. Now people are saying, there's like a wall has been removed, right? That layer of perfection has been removed. So now people are seeing what's behind you. People are seeing kids run up in the screen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Talk about that level of how you've been able to connect more, why we're disconnected. Because that is a real thing.
Yeah, I think the thing is, to be able to connect with someone, you have to be able to relate to them. And for me, I relate to everyone else who's going through something because I'm going through it as well. Exactly. So it's not like an individual that I'm training is going through something alone because I'm going through that same thing. I may have not lost a job, but I've lost other opportunities, because everything is changing. You know what I mean? So to be able to relate to someone, that holds value in a relationship and building a rapport. So someone sees my kid come up to a screen while I'm doing a class and they say, well, I can't work out because I have my kids. I'm like, yo, I got my kid. He's 6. I got my kid too, who's hitting me up like, Daddy, I'm hungry. And I'm like, hold on, man, I got to finish, training in this class. He does that. Literally, he'll come up like that. What's up with some pancakes? I'm like, hey, man.
That's real life.
Yeah, it's okay. And I tell people they see it on screen. They'll laugh while they're working out. Yeah. Like, you can have your kids, and a lot of times I'll have them work out with me. Yeah. He'll hop in and do some workout. Your kids can work out too. We can always find an excuse to not do something, and that's the easy way out. So for me, it was just like, okay, well, I have a kid. I have a full-time gig that I also have. I work as well. So It's like I work and I train. Okay. And I'm a dad. Yeah. So it's all those things that are relatable to a lot of people, and for those who are able to work from home, it's a great thing because you can manage your time. You get breaks when you're working you're not just in your work all day with no breaks. Yeah, right? No, if you are with no breaks, then you got to reevaluate what you're doing. Yeah. You got to make time to eat. You got to make time to use the bathroom. You got to reevaluate. So for me, it's just being able to relate to everyone who's going through the same things that I'm going through, but with a positive mindset. And that's all it is you can adapt to anything based on how you think.
Yeah, it's all perception.
If you want to think that it's going to be terrible, it's going to be terrible. Yeah. If you go into it with an open mind, then you've won. But don't go into it defeating yourself before it even starts. And a lot of people do that, even with workouts. They'll go into it, being intimidated based off of what I may look like. And it's like, well, you're not necessarily going to do what I'm doing. So exactly. I'm going to put you through something that you can do that's manageable for you. you know, because
Exactly.
we're all different.
No, man, that's so real. I mean, at the end of the day, marketing and branding is all about relatability, excuse
Mm-hmm.
me, if I can speak, and then just being
Mm-hmm.
authentic, right? And I feel
Yes.
like that's the thing. It's like, well, we can stop worrying about it and just become authentic. I tell people all the time that's like worrying about what they post and what they share. Like, yo, people are a lot
Yeah.
more forgiving than what you think. And right now,
Mm-hmm.
that's the one commonality that we all have. We're all at home, right?
Yeah.
We're all living and going through this same process. And that's the one thing. Like I said, it's funny, as crazy as it is that it's isolated, it's the one thing we can all connect to and have a
Right.
similar commonality that we never could before. But talking about all the aspects you're doing, like I want to hear about everything you're doing. I know you do a lot of the competitions or like, the 21-day events. So talk about
Challenges.
all the services that you offer, like I said, because you just mentioned it. If you aren't healthy,
Mm-hmm.
you don't
There's
have
no
anything
point.
else. I mean,
Right.
so like your gift, your body literally is the beginning of any gift that you can have and how you take care of that, right? That is your temple
One.
essentially. So
100%.
what is all the things that you do to incorporate? I know you do, like you said, you did meals and I know the training, but tell people all the different things that you do.
So I do one-on-one Zoom training, virtual trainings. I do group trainings, Zoom classes, Wednesdays through Fridays, 9 a.m. I also do some in-person training as well, social distance training. I was in a facility for a while before COVID hit, and then it hit and things just kind of changed. So I just kind of backed up off of that for a while. So I just been kind of doing some things outdoors, or if I can get a space, then I'll utilize the space as well. So I was utilizing the space down in the Pearl,
Okay.
in a warehouse space. But I usually have people, incorporate their own equipment and things of that nature. I put on different challenges, every few weeks. So I did the ab challenge. I don't even know how long ago it was, maybe like a month and a half ago or so.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And
I remember that one.
yeah, and now I'm currently doing the Feed the Beast challenge, which is, like I said, challenging your mind, your body, and your nutrition. I've partnered with Fit Tracks Meals. It's a meal
Okay.
service. So that's a part of the nutrition aspect that I offer as well. And just trying to continue to build. Like I said, I want to get my clothing brand out there as well, and just incorporate things into your lifestyle. So
Yeah.
it's one-on-one trainings, it's small group trainings, it's youth training. Yeah, training and nutrition. That's pretty much the bulk of what I'm doing currently. But
Gotcha.
I don't know what everything else is looking like for me in the future because
That
my
was my
wheels
next
are
question.
always
My
turning.
next question is what is, we talked about
Yeah,
chess. You mentioned the
yeah.
fashion. Like, what do you see coming down next? If you had a crystal ball and you can be like, okay, B, in 2022, 2023, this is what I will be doing. What does that
So
look like? Go.
I see, for me, not even that far down the line, but
Okay.
next is
Yeah.
just launching the clothing brand,
Okay.
getting shirts out there, getting apparel out there for people to wear as in a lifestyle, not necessarily just working out. I
Okay.
like to call it fit casual,
Yeah.
so it's fitness gear that's
Portland's
casual.
perfect for it. Portland's perfect.
Exactly.
Perfect for it.
Exactly. So, that's something that I would like to get out there next. That's the next move, actually, which
Okay.
is not what I would like to get out there. That's what I'm going to get out there next.
That's next. Yeah.
Hats,
Yeah.
sweatshirts, tees, shorts, even some joggers. Once I land the right jogger that I like, that's next.
Gotcha.
So
So
that's
you say it like you've already been dabbling in it, like you've already been doing some research, like it's already.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
it's in the making. Like I'm definitely, the biggest thing I've learned with being an entrepreneur is a lot of times we have so many ideas that sometimes we hold our own selves back from
Okay.
certain things because we can have too many ideas. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes my brain goes in a million different directions because I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. I want to do this and I'm going to do this. And it's like, I need, I have friends telling me, you need to just focus in on the one thing first and
Yeah.
then go to the next thing. And
Yeah. Have you
it's
read the
hard
book,
for
The
me.
One Thing?
I haven't, and I
Okay.
will.
It is it
Yeah.
is an amazing book. Look, I can relate. I tell people all the time, like I'm scatterbrained. Like, yo, I have that
Yeah.
shiny object syndrome. Like I want to do everything. Like if you look through my phone right now, I
Mhm.
have, but it's also the gift. but
Yeah.
I have,
Yeah.
like I have like 200
The
ideas,
gift,
like marketing. I
the
have like
gift and the
350.
curse.
Yeah, it's the gift and the curse. And
Yeah.
one thing that I will say with COVID, it has forced
Mhm.
me to focus. Like, like,
Yeah.
like, and also being busy has forced me to focus. It's forced me to, strip away the fat, essentially, everything I don't need to be focusing on. And now I
Right.
just do what I can do. But yeah, man, it's hard. It's hard because, and then
To
especially if
isolate those
you think you
thoughts.
can do all those things, like that's the other thing. Like
Right.
you think you can make it happen. It's not just having the idea. It's like, no, I can actually do it. And so it's
Right.
almost like you have that self-defeating conversation like, yo, why can't I do 15 things at once?
Right. And that's the hardest part, is because I want to do it all. And
Exactly.
and a lot of times I want to do it all by myself to say I did it, but I
Yeah.
know that I need help doing
Yeah.
those things. And I have help, which is a great thing for me. So that's been a benefit for me as well, because if I were to just do everything on my own, I probably wouldn't get a lot of things off,
Yeah.
because I'd want to do too many things at once, and it's hard to just focus in on what's important for right now. And that's kind of why it's kind of taken me a while to get the clothing off, because it's like I have so many ideas of how, I want things to look and what I need them to be like, to have my brand represented the way that I see it. So it's just being patient with myself.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Like I said earlier, is having that patience and realizing that, okay, you have a plan, so just focus in on the plan and don't deter from the plan, because once you do that, then you have some hiccups and slow process. So
Exactly. It's like that thing that they say, if you chase after two rabbits at once, you'll catch none, or something like that. But
yeah.
so I can't let you get off without asking about fitness or what should people be doing. Now, my girl Abigail, she said run stairs. What's the one thing
Mhm.
people can be doing right now at the house if they aren't signing up for your classes? Well, they should be signing up for
Mhm.
your classes and your
They
programs. But
should
if
be.
they aren't doing that, what can they do to stay healthy, to stay fit, to do something? What's the bare minimum they should be doing on a day-to-day or weekly basis?
As far as a time frame, I'd say anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes of exercise, daily is doable. If you
Mm-hmm.
have an extremely busy schedule, you have, a house full of kids, or, a nagging wife or husband that needs your attention throughout the day or whatever,
That might be
10 to
more
20
reasons for it
minutes.
to do it.
Right. But 10 to 20 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes shouldn't be hard to get active. And,
Yeah.
you can be doing body weight exercises, body weight squats, lunges, sit ups, those type of things. If you don't have weights,
Mm-hmm.
if you have weights, utilize those weights. Otherwise, go on a run,
Yeah.
go on a bike ride. You can wear your mask and go on a bike ride. I take my son on a bike ride pretty much every week. We ride the bikes around the waterfront or whatever, but we mask up.
Got you.
So it's there's things you can do during this time to stay active. Running stairs is a great one. I do hills. I run hills. I live in the West Hills area, so there's a
Okay.
lot of hills out here. So I'll sprint hills, get a hill workout in. I'll go on a jog on a trail or whatever. And if I'm at home, obviously, I mean, me being a trainer, I have tons of workouts that I do. But
Yeah.
if you don't have equipment, like I said, body weight workouts is good. Push ups, squats, sit ups, lunges, those type of things. Squat jumps, all those type of things will work for anybody in 10 to 20 minutes. You can do it.
Yeah.
Set yourself a limit of reps you want to do. 10 reps to 12 reps, and do like 4 or 5 rounds. Call it a day. Shower up and get back to work.
There you go. There you go,
That
man. Well, I
it's
appreciate you. I
it's it's,
appreciate the
it's
insight.
absolutely. It's been a pleasure, man. I've enjoyed it, and like I said, I'm a huge fan of what you're doing, and I love to see you continue to keep growing your businesses and keep building the brand.
Yeah, I'm
It's a
definitely gonna
beautiful
try it.
thing.
Before we go though, you definitely got to plug. I know Uplift One, where they can find you. I
Mm-hmm.
know you have your current program, Feed the Beast. You kind of
Mm-hmm.
mentioned it a little bit, but plug away. Let everyone know what it is. What's the next program they could be signing up for, getting ready to sign up for. Plug away.
So right now I'm doing the Feed the Beast challenge, and you can hit me up on my Instagram for details, is at uplift_one, or you can hit me up on Facebook at uplift1 and get more information about that as well. So Feed the Beast is going on right now. That's tapping into your mental, your physical, and your nutritional aspect. And then I'm also running my Zoom classes Wednesday, Thursday, Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're on the East Coast, that's noon, I would assume, right? 3 hours difference.
Yep.
And what else do I have going on? One-on-one virtual trainings as well. So I'm right now currently taking on 3 new clients. So if you're interested, hit me up via Instagram or Facebook. Message me and we can chat and make some things happen. And right now, that's all that I have going.
That's it.
Train,
Just that. Now, you ain't busy. You ain't busy enough.
That's all I got, man. You know. And if you're interested in nutritional meals, you can sign up for Fit Tracks Meals. That's FITRAXX meals.com. And use the code Uplift. You say
and that's UPLFT.
UPLFT.
Gotcha. Well, man, I appreciate it. I got to ask you before we get off, who's winning the chip? Basketball, who's winning? And you can't just say Portland because you're from Portland unless you think they go win.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not from Portland. I'm from Milwaukee.
That's
Milwaukee Bucks.
Are you actually a fan though?
I'm actually a fan. Ray Allen was my favorite player.
There you go.
Man.
Okay.
He played for the Bucks. So
yep.
I had a pleasure.
People remember that with those Ray Allen days.
Yeah, Ray Allen, Glenn Robinson,
those Jesus Shuttlesworth days.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's I'm rolling my Bucks, man. The Greek Freak, got to represent.
Okay, there you go. Heard it here first, man. You said it. I'm gonna put money down, man. Again, I appreciate you, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep uplifting people, and I want to get on one of these programs one of these days, because absolutely, man, I have been trying to run. I've been eating a little bit better. I have been trying to run outside in Arizona, but it's been the hottest summer, bro. The low is 85. The low is 85. I'm like,
I don't encourage you to run outside in Arizona. I don't encourage that.
I'm like, I'm gonna get up early, run. I look at my phone. I'm like, nope, not today.
Yeah.
Not today. And stuff ain't opened up yet either.
My mom said like at 10 at night it's like 100 degrees.
Yeah. It's not really. Yeah, it's not
crazy,
cool.
Man.
It's not cool. Yeah.
That's why I haven't made it out there yet. Not in the summer.
Not in the summer. Yeah, no. But come watch. Come October, you'll be like, you'll be ready.
Yeah, it'll be different.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, man. Well, yeah, enjoy your day. I know you got more training. I will talk to you and everybody. Follow him, figure out the next events, and we'll speak it into existence. The fashion line is on its way.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the time.
All right, bro.
All right, have a good one.